The Galactic Academy had tested thousands of species across the stars. For centuries, it was the final judge of strength. Every species that joined the Academy was measured the same way: strength, endurance, reaction speed, gravity tolerance. The system never failed. Numbers decided everything. A high rank meant respect. A low rank meant silence. On ranking day, the main hall was packed. Floating screens filled the air, glowing with symbols and numbers. Alien cadets from dozens of worlds stood in long lines. Some had claws, some had wings, some wore breathing masks. When results appeared, reactions spread fast. One species clicked their mandibles in pride. Another lowered their heads in shame. The Academy instructors watched calmly. To them, this was routine. Species after species stepped forward. The system scanned them. Ranks were assigned. Everything worked perfectly. Then the humans arrived. They stood near the end of the line, smaller than many others. No armor, no visible weapons, just plain uniforms and calm faces. Several alien cadets whispered. Humans came from a harsh world, yes, but their gravity was considered average by galactic standards. Their strength should be low, their endurance acceptable, but nothing special. When the human group stepped onto the platform, the hall quieted. The system began its scan. A low hum filled the air. Then it stopped. The floating screens froze. Lights flickered across the hall. The main display turned black. Instructors frowned. One of them tapped a control panel. The ranking engine restarted. This machine was ancient, older than some civilizations in the hall. It had measured creatures made of stone, plasma, and living metal. It scanned again. Words appeared on the screen. Result: error, subject parameters out of range. The hall erupted in confused sounds. Clicks, hisses, sharp breaths. An insectoid professor let out a buzzing laugh. This is clearly a mistake. Humans come from a low-gravity, death-average world. Their strength should rank near the bottom. The system was reset. Again, the scan began. Again, the screen froze. Error. The instructors exchanged nervous looks. They tried again. Error. Again. Error. The whispers grew louder. This had never happened before, not once. The Academy had ranked war species, predators, and beings built for combat, yet now it could not rank humans. The system attempted to auto-adjust. New limits were set. The scan ran one more time. The screen flashed red, then shut down completely. A deep silence fell over the hall. The instructors stood still. For the first time in Academy history, the ranking system had failed. Slowly, fear replaced confusion. The machine was perfect. If it failed, then the problem was not the system. Every alien in the hall understood the truth at the same moment. The problem was not the machine. It was the humans. And whatever they were, the Academy was not prepared to measure it. The Academy locked the ranking hall. Energy barriers sealed every exit. Guards took positions along the walls. No one was allowed to leave. The human cadets were separated from the others and moved into a white observation chamber. The room had no windows. Only scanners and floating lights watched them from every angle. Doctors began their work. Beams passed through human bodies. Bones were measured. Muscles were scanned. Blood chemistry was analyzed again and again. Scientists argued loudly. "This is impossible," one said. "There must be hidden enhancements," another replied. Instructors demanded answers. The ranking system had never been wrong, not once. If the system failed, then something had to be corrected. So the Academy decided to change the tests. The first change was gravity. The training floor increased pressure slowly. What felt normal to most species became heavy within seconds. Several alien cadets fell to their knees. Some collapsed completely. The humans bent forward slightly. They adjusted their stance. They stayed standing. The gravity doubled, then tripled. The humans' boots pressed deeper into the floor. Their faces showed strain, but none of them screamed. Their heart rates stayed calm. Instructors watched the monitors in silence. The next test added weight. Heavy frames were locked onto the humans' bodies. Metal plates pressed down on their shoulders and backs. Other species had failed under far less. The humans moved slower, but they kept moving. Their muscles tightened and adapted. Micro tears healed faster than expected. Strength output increased instead of falling. One scientist whispered, "They are adjusting in real time." The Academy did not stop. They increased the endurance trial. Time passed. Minutes became hours. Other species had been removed long ago, unconscious or shaking. The humans were still there. Sweat covered their faces. Breathing became heavy. One human finally collapsed to the floor. Several instructors reacted at once. Guards stepped forward, but before anyone reached him, the human pushed himself up. No command was given. No signal was sent. He stood back up on his own. The instructors marked the action as aggression. The human spoke calmly. "This is just training," he said. That answer unsettled the room. Pain response data appeared on the screens. It did not match any known pattern. Pain slowed humans, but it did not stop them. The system attempted to correct itself. A new category was created. The screen flashed. Classification: unknown. The room went silent. No one spoke. Every instructor understood what that word meant. Numbers could be controlled. Ranks could be managed. But unknown meant the system had no limit to apply, no scale, no ceiling. The Academy had built its rankings to measure strength, but humans were not reacting like a ranked species. They were reacting like survivors. One instructor quietly asked, "What happens if we push them further?" No one answered, because deep down they already knew. The system was not fixing an error, it was discovering one. And the Academy had just stepped into territory it did not understand.
The Academy Council met in silence. Screens replayed the test footage again and again. Humans standing where others fell. Humans adapting where others failed. The conclusion was clear. The Academy decided to force a ranking. If the system could not measure humans under normal conditions, then the conditions would be pushed beyond normal. Gravity was increased past safety limits. Warning lights flashed across the training chamber. Medical staff protested, but their voices were ignored. Several non-human cadets refused to continue. Some were dragged out, shaking and weak. Others fainted before they could even speak. The humans stayed. The floor pressed down like a crushing hand. Bones strained, muscles screamed. Humans bent low, then straightened. Their breathing grew heavy, but their eyes stayed focused. Next came weapon reaction drills.
Automated turrets activated around the chamber, not live fire, but fast enough to kill slower species. Targets appeared, warnings sounded, humans moved. They dodged, they blocked, they reacted faster with each second, not slower. Sensors struggled to track them. Then the Academy simulated battlefield pressure. Explosions echoed through the chamber, heat surged, smoke filled the air, alarms screamed. The room became chaos. Still, the humans advanced. They shielded each other, they adjusted tactics without speaking. One human stumbled, and another instantly took his position. A senior instructor slammed his claws onto the control desk. "This is impossible!" he shouted. "They are cheating!" He accused the humans of hiding enhancements, illegal implants, gene edits, cybernetic assistance. The humans did not argue. They agreed to full scans. Every system examined them again, layer by layer. No implants, no altered DNA, no artificial muscle fibers. Just biology, just evolution. The scans ended. The room fell quiet. The tests resumed. One human was pushed into a reinforced strength frame designed to test upper limits. The structure was built from materials stronger than starship armor. The human pulled. Metal screamed. The frame twisted. Then it snapped. The human froze, shocked by what he had done. Silence spread across the room. Instructors stared. Scientists stopped breathing. The system began its final attempt. The ranking engine recalculated everything: strength, endurance, reaction, adaptation. The screen flashed rapidly. Then it stopped. Red symbols filled the display. Status, system limit exceeded. No rank appeared, no number, just a warning. The Academy finally understood. The ranking system was built to measure strength within known limits. Humans did not stay within limits. They endured, they adapted, they pushed forward even when broken. Humans were not designed to win quickly. They were designed to survive anything. And the Academy realized, too late, that it had not been testing students. It had been provoking something far more dangerous. A sealed council met in the deepest chamber of the Academy. No cadets were allowed inside. No recordings were saved. Even the walls were shielded. Only senior instructors, scientists, and observers from allied worlds were present. The doors closed. Silence followed. They began to review the records. Every test, every scan, every failure of the system. Then they reviewed human history. The screens changed. Planets shattered by storms. Oceans that crushed bodies with pressure. Frozen lands that killed within minutes. Burning deserts that offered no mercy. Predators filled the images. Creatures with claws, creatures with venom, creatures that hunted in the dark, and humans lived among them. The Council watched wars next. Human against human, cities destroyed, worlds scarred. Again and again, humans fought, not because they were strongest, but because they refused to stop. Casualties did not end their efforts. Loss did not break them. They adapted. Weapons improved. Tactics evolved. Survivors learned. The Academy finally understood. Humans did not evolve to dominate. They evolved to endure. Their world pushed them every day. Heavy gravity pulled at their bodies. Unstable climate tested their survival. Constant danger forced constant change. Strength was not their goal. Adaptation was. The ranking system searched for limits. Humans did not have one. Every time pressure increased, humans responded by changing. The system could not measure change without an endpoint. One scientist spoke quietly. "Our system ranks what exists," she said. "Humans become something new under pressure." That frightened the council. An instructor shifted in his seat and asked a single question. "If they are this strong as students, what are they like as soldiers?" No one answered, because the answer was already visible on the screens. Human armies moved through chaos. Human soldiers fought while injured. Human units held positions long after logic said they should retreat. The room felt smaller. The council made a decision. All reports labeled error were deleted. Public records were adjusted. Official statements described the incident as a technical fault. The Academy returned to normal operations, but silence could not stop whispers. Instructors talked. Scientists shared data in secret. Cadets noticed changes. Humans were no longer placed in standard classes. Observation rooms were reinforced. Training schedules were modified. Across the galaxy, rumors spread. Stories of a species that broke the system, of students who could not be ranked, of beings who adapted instead of failing. Worlds listened, governments paid attention, and somewhere deep in the Academy archives, one private note remained. "Do not test humans to find their limits, because limits were never the point. Pressure was."
The ranking system was updated. No ceremony, no announcement. Just a quiet change deep inside the Academy database. A single new line was added. Humans exempt from standard measurement. That line changed everything. Other species noticed immediately. Cadets asked questions. Governments sent messages. Allied worlds demanded explanations. The Academy gave none. No public statement was made. No reason was offered. Human cadets were removed from the ranking halls. They no longer stood on the same platforms. Their names no longer appeared on public screens. Instead, they were given separate training. The rooms were different. Thicker walls, stronger floors, reinforced ceilings. Observation decks were built above and below. Transparent barriers made from starship-grade material separated observers from the humans inside. Instructors spoke carefully during human training sessions. Commands were clear. Rules were strict. Mistakes were avoided. Not because humans were violent, but because they adapted faster than expected. The humans trained longer hours. They faced higher pressure. They were exposed to conditions meant only for simulations. And still, they improved. Observers took notes. Heart rates, muscle growth, reaction speed. Every metric changed over time. No stable pattern appeared. The Academy slowly understood a final truth. Humans could not be ranked because they did not stay the same. A limit today became a warm-up tomorrow. Across the galaxy, stories spread. Some were exaggerated. Some were denied. Some were quietly confirmed. World leaders listened. Military planners adjusted projections. Diplomats changed their tone. A new lesson passed from world to world. Do not test humans to learn their limits, because humans do not have limits. They have thresholds, and every threshold once crossed changes them. The Academy archived the human files under restricted access. Only one warning remained visible. Do not provoke. Years later, a new species arrived at the academy. They asked about the empty ranking slot. They asked why one category had no numbers. An instructor answered simply, "That category is not empty, it is closed." The young cadet asked why. The instructor paused, then replied, "Because some species are not measured by how strong they are measured by what they survive." Far away, human cadets continued their training. They laughed, they struggled, they adapted, unaware that an entire galaxy had changed its rules because of them. And somewhere deep in the Academy's core system, a silent safeguard ran in the background. A reminder written not in numbers, but in fear. Never test humans to see how far they can go, because once pushed far enough, they never go back.